Here we go. What is going on? Cover one crew. I told y'all get used to this face because it ain't going no place. We're diving back into the lab and we're talking another scouting report, this time on Quentin Johnston. Always get that man's name wrong. There's an S in that name. But I'm telling y'all, he is something of an enigma for me. I really try hard to like his game more than I probably do, but I mean, okay, maybe that's a little bit too much foreshadow for how I believe in this man's traits, but he is a good talent, I will say that. But I got a lot to say about this man. Before we get started, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. Truly appreciate all the support. Help us grow this channel that much more under the Cover One community. Truly appreciate it. But what do you guys say we talk about this potential freak or a potential bust? I mean, that's kind of where I feel right now. Quentin Johnston, TCU. You know, first off, while I'm not trying to be the naysayer on a Quentin Johnston as we sit today, because I do like his game, I'm just trying to be in love with his game, and I don't think I can get there, and that's the problem, because I do see some, glaring cons that do fill my head in the eye test. It never lies, man. We got to watch the film on what he does well and what he doesn't, and I mean, the eye test to me sometimes is like, yeah, don't really like that a lot, and maybe he's being pumped up just a little bit too much for me, simply because of the stature of some of the other top wide receiver prospects that are under 6 feet in this NFL draft. If this draft was loaded with 6 foot plus talent, would we be talking up the talents of Quentin Johnston as much as we would? That's the question mark I pose to all of y'all, because I do believe it's warranted. But let's dive into those measurables. He stands at 6'2", 208. He is 21 years of age. He is a specimen, no kidding. 30 contests, 115 receptions, 2190 in yardage. A nice 19.0 on the average, and 14 receiving touchdowns. So when we're talking statistical achievement right off the bat, I was hoping that he was going to have that full-on, breakout, you can't, down-talk his game whatsoever. Something like, Treylon Burks-esque from Arkansas. I think that's kind of where I was hoping it was going to be. Didn't necessarily meet that bar, that threshold that I was hoping for. Does it mean he had a bad season? Heck no. It was a very good campaign. They did make it through the college football playoff. They did very well. But I mean, okay, we can discuss that as well all we want through those cons. I was hoping for a little bit more stat-wise, but let's talk some pros, because he does have a boatload of them. Good body frame, prototype wide receiver. And again, he is likely the best one out of this class when it comes to the stature, his ability, because he does stand 6'2", 208. So there are other wide receivers that are at his height level, but you're not talking up all these guys as much as you are Quentin Johnston at this point. And okay, fine. Maybe your little recency bias based on, the combine and what he was able to do athletically, but he does have the prototype frame, and I'm going to give him the pros for that, obviously. Great speed for his size. It was the high 4.4s to the low 4.5s, and at 208.62, he's got enough speed. The tape speed does not lie. He can get around it, and he is making house calls with his wheels. On the yak ability, he does have all of that. Very good agility. He is an athletic freak. He's going to make plays for any offense that does give him the opportunity. You put him with a very good quarterback. I think that might be the caveat. Is he going to be, quarterback dependent in the NFL? That could very well be also. If he gets with a top elite passer like a Joe Burrow, like a Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, can he be, uplifted to that next level stratosphere of statistical achievement and performance? I don't see why not, because a quarterback can lift him up. But is Quentin Johnston going to be one of these guys you put on an offense that's going to lift the quarterback? That's the question marks that I definitely have. Very good strength, solid arm push off for separation, extra separation. And if you guys don't know my work as enough to say what is arm push-off separation, it's like how Antonio Brown used to play. He used to give that little nudge just to gain that little slight edge to catch the ball on contested catch ability. And Quentin Johnston does this extremely well, because in the NFL, if the receiver's arm goes fully extended, I should say, they're calling offensive PI on that every single time. So Quentin Johnston does do this extremely well, just enough of a push-off to gain a little bit of leverage and separation to make those contested catches. He does have a very good catch radius, in my opinion. I know some scouts that do not covet the radius because they didn't see near enough of it, and that's a warrant point as well. He's a big man. He's got longer arms. You think that he would be able to do the you got mossed more often than you think. But they used him a lot in the yak ability as well. So, maybe it just wasn't highlighted on tape as much. We did see it at the combine where he did get up really high, man. He's got great hops. And a lot of people were saying, where the hell's TCU hiding this man from? Did quarterback Duggan not, do enough to, showcase the talent? That is also very possible as well. So I'm going to put that. That's why I'm saying he's an enigma for me, because what are we actually getting from this man is the question. Great turn and burst post catch. This is plus grades. This is probably one of his best traits that he does possess. No kidding. He will come back on those slants. He will come back on those hooks, and he's going to turn every single time he's making that spin move, and he's making crazy yardage after the play. He does this so well that it's going to translate in the NFL and the pros instantly once they understand how to utilize them. It kind of goes to the point of saying the hooks, the slants, the deep shots, it's the bread and butter of his game. You get him to slant, he's going to be able to make a move, make a spin, and then he's off to the races. The hooks, like I said, the quick turn and burst, it's so clean, and he's perfected that move, and it is definitely his favorite move. You see it over and over and over again. It's just what he's very good at. Plus grades for me. Great plant step cuts. I do like that about him as well. Maybe not necessarily in his full route tree, but when he does have the ball in his hand, he is able to make people miss with that cut ability, and I think it is very good. So it depends on what offense is going to utilize this man. You got to understand what you're getting out of WR Johnston, and I think that he's going to be able to do at least that extremely well in the NFL. He is a good ball tracker. Over the shoulder, jump ball ability, I got no issues with it. I think that he does track the ball very well, and he is going to be able to at least find it and make an opportunity to come down with the ball. Like I said, he's got playmaking ability, yak yard machine. He's a playmaker, and this is what you want. So that's why a lot of people as well are getting extremely favorable on a Quentin Johnston, because he can be that guy that you give him the ball. He's going to turn it into a very big splash play, chunk yard play, and you can't hate it. You can't fault guys for that, especially if that's only their skill set and what they have to offer. Johnston does that extremely well. He can also pull off those jet sweeps with ease. I've seen it. He can do it. He gets around the edge, and he's able to rush the ball and make a big play in the process. So there is a versatility aspect to his game that I do appreciate also. But we do got some cons to discuss, and for me, I think their issue is he is probably more raw than polished at this point for me. It's tough for me to get behind a wide receiver in the first round that is more raw than polished. I think that you want to see the guy that can likely start for you, if not day one. He's going to start midway point through the season. Will I say that Quentin Johnston won't start midway point through the season? No, I think that he can and he is capable. But I do believe there is some definite technique issues that need to be refined in his game, and one of those is the dropping problem. He does got drops, man, and I think the biggest reason is he's not a hand catcher. He is a body catcher, and I'm sorry. I start dropping guys down my grades because of that, man. You got to have the supreme hands. You got to snag the ball. You got to corral those balls because, otherwise they're slapping off and you're not good. Okay, we're going into some innuendos, but I'm telling y'all, man, he does have the body catching problem. He has shown the ability to catch with his hands, but he's way more comfortable, corralling it in with his body, hence why the drops are there. Hands can be suspect, like I'm saying, at times, double catching, clapping off the hands. As Bills fans, we see a lot of criticism going on for Gabe Davis right now, and it's because of the double catching and the slapping off the hands. So what are you saying about Quentin Johnston then if you're cussing down a Gabe Davis? I'm just saying it's very similar in that sense. If you're going to talk about a guy like Gabe, you got to talk the same about a Johnston because his hands to me are definitely a work in progress, hence why I say a little bit more raw than polished. Can he work it out? Absolutely. I think that there is ability for any wide receiver who is forcing a catch problem. I think that, there is a lot of opportunity to fix that in the NFL. Couple 1,000 reps on the jug machine, and you should be good to go. He can be a disappearing act at times. Some games he just blows up, goes off the chain. Others, he disappears. Against Georgia, you saw what happened. He was definitely not there. Big-time players step up in big-time games, and, he just did not show up. So, you got to understand, and there's many other, games I can discuss where he wasn't there. He wasn't involved. Was it game scheme? Yes, you could say that as well, but there were times where he just disappeared, and I don't like that from my guy that I'm picking in the first round. I want to see at least the ability that he's going to at least make some plays happen every single week. It's never going to be 100 yards yards and a touchdown every week, but you got to see him somewhat involved more than what he was in certain contests that I did review. Body balance can appear out of control at times. But it might just be the eye test thing. When he's running, he's trying to evade tacklers. He just seems a little off balance. Not sure of his body balance at that point. Just a little bit of a knock. I'm not overly concerned because he is a playmaker. He does have the ability to, gash defenses on the regular. I just noticed that, and it did catch my eye enough for me to say that, hey, I got to keep my eye on this. It could potentially turn into a problem. Route tree proficiency overall is in question. Like I said, hooks, slants, and deep routes. I mean, simple route tree. Can he be refined? Double moves, is that part of his game? Very hard to decipher at this point for me, and I'm gonna go on the side of caution here and say just he needs some proficiency, refinement. He needs just to refine his route tree just a little bit. Again, I'm not gonna say that no player prospect cannot improve. I think they absolutely can. It's just one of these things that I definitely did notice. Field coverage awareness, I mean, it's a concern for me at times, and hence why, I mean, he does disappear. The defense does play their schemes. He can get lost in them. And then, the quarterback's going in another direction. Again, coaching aptitude, getting him on the whiteboard, understanding the playbook that much more. This can be coached out as well. So it's not a grave concern, but it is something you got to keep your eye on also. Is he more Cordero Patterson at the next level? This is the question, man. I'm going to put it out there. I know a lot of people are going to say, you're crazy. He's much better than a Cordero Patterson. We talked the same type of stuff about Patterson when he came in the NFL, and he lit it up on stage, man, when he took that first punt return back for a touchdown in his first game. If I'm not mistaken, Cordero Patterson did. This is kind of the situation. Is he going to be that kind of Swiss Army knife type of player in the NFL that is that quality playmaker? Am I suggesting that Quentin is going to be a running back convert? No, I'm not saying that at all. I think he's going to stick to be a wide receiver, but I'm saying it's very reminiscent of what I saw in a Cordero Patterson and his game. He's a definite playmaker. He has ability, but I mean, I'm going to say I trust Cordero Patterson's hands a little bit more than I do Quentin Johnston at this point, but it's kind of in that realm. I think that you can utilize a Johnston very similarly like the NFL has utilized a Cordero Patterson, but I do believe he's going to stick at wide receiver more than switching over to a running back if that, gives some of the supporters of Quentin Johnston a little bit more warm and fuzzy, that's for sure. But for grading purposes, he's not an awful talent, and I don't want to sit here and say that I'm bashing his game because I truly am not. He is this type of player for me right now as we sit today. Can he improve? 110%, but we got a grade on what we see today, and I got him at 75.9% potential success rate in the NFL. Still not a terrible score, but I did have to knock him down in some of my categories simply because he's an enigma, man. For like the third time, I'm going to say it. He's a mystery to me at this point when it comes to certain aspects of his game. Can he do it with high levels of consistency? We shall see. I do like him, but I do got question marks, and I think that bodes to say where I stand on Quentin Johnston today. So there you have it. That is Quentin Johnston. Again, TCU product. He is a very good potential talent. Can he round it out to be the quality wide receiver that so many are talking him up right now? I got question marks. If it happens, great. I mean, I still got the grade at the point where I still believe that he could turn things around, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to find his NFL footing. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What are you thinking of Q Johnston? Is he your guy? Do you like his game? What don't you like about his game? Throw it in the comments. We can definitely talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.